Hi there, and welcome to The Daily Gardener, an almanac of garden history, literature, and small botanical joys. I'm Jennifer Eadling, and today is February 24th. Some people tower in history. They change what we know. They change what we build. And yet, when you look closely, so many of the truly influential people turned out to be gardeners. Not always in the literal sense, but in the way they think, patiently, experimentally, always working toward a future they may never fully see. Here's today's garden history. It was on this day in 1749 that the botanist Mary Eleanor Bowes, Countess of Strathmore and Kinghorn, was born. She's often remembered as the Unhappy Countess, but in her own time, she was also described famously as the most intelligent female botanist of the age. Mary Eleanor was born into astonishing wealth, the sole heiress to a massive coal fortune, and unlike most women in Georgian England, she was educated seriously. Her father, George Bowes, raised her in a world of books, teaching, and landscape ambition. Gardens that weren't quiet private spaces, but showcases, statements, experiments. At her two estates, Gibbside and Chelsea, Mary Eleanor built hothouses and collected rare plants with the focus of a scientist and not the casual interest of a fashionable hobbyist. In 1777, she financed the explorer William Patterson to travel to the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa to collect plant specimens for her. And then came one of the most extraordinary objects in garden history, Mary Eleanor's botanical cabinet, a mahogany piece of furniture that was engineered like a portable lab. It opened from the side to reveal long drawers sized for herbarium sheets, pressed plants mounted on paper. It included a fold-down writing surface for notes and labels, and its hollow legs were lead-lined, fitted with taps, suggesting liquids could be released, as if the cabinet might even have supported living specimens during study or transit. Science disguised as furniture, a garden archive built to travel. But Mary Eleanor's life was also marked by brutality. Her second marriage to Andrew Robinson Stoney was violently abusive, and he used her gardens as a weapon. He barred her from her own hothouses and even released rabbits into her flower beds to destroy her plants. And yet, she fought back. In 1789, she reclaimed her fortune and secured a rare divorce, a landmark victory for a woman of her time. And when she died, she requested something unforgettable: to be buried in a magnificent dress carrying a small silver trumpet, so she could, as some later put it, blow her own trumpet at the resurrection. A woman of brilliance, a woman of courage, and a botanist who refused to be dismissed. And it was on this day, in 1910, that the American botanist Charles Reid Barnes died in Chicago. Charles Barnes wasn't a household name, but he gave gardeners one of the most important words we use to understand plant life. In 1893, Charles coined the term photosynthesis, a precise name for the way plants make food from light. Interestingly, Charles himself preferred another word he created, photosyntax, but the botanical world chose photosynthesis, and the name stuck. Before that, the process was often called assimilation, a word so vague it could mean almost anything. Charles wanted clarity. Plants don't eat soil. They manufacture their own food from sunlight, air, and water. Charles also studied mosses and other bryophytes, small, resilient plants that live in the margins and quietly hold ecosystems together. And as a professor and editor, he pushed botany forward from naming plants to understanding how they function. Charles died after an accidental fall at just 51 years old, but the language he gave us still shapes how we garden. Every time you think about light levels, or where to place a houseplant, or why a seedling stretches toward a window, you're living his legacy. In today's Unearthed Words, we hear an excerpt from the award-winning African-American science fiction writer Octavia Butler, who died on this day, February 24th, 2006. Octavia believed that survival depends on adaptation, on learning how to move, how to change, and how to carry knowledge forward. In her earth seed philosophy, gardening and seed saving become acts of resistance, ways of imagining a future, even when the present feels unstable. In her book, Parable of the Sower, Octavia wrote, "I was weeding the back garden and thinking about the way plants seed themselves, wind-borne, animal-borne, water-borne, far from their parent plants. They have no ability at all to travel great distances under their own power, and yet they do travel. Even they don't have to just sit in one place and wait to be wiped out. There are islands thousands of miles from anywhere, the Hawaiian Islands, for example, and Easter Island, where plants seeded themselves and grew long before any humans arrived. Earth seed. I am earth seed. Anyone can be. Someday, I think there will be a lot of us, and I think we'll have to seed ourselves farther and farther from this dying place." It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, Garden Design Master Class by Carl Delatorre. This book gathers the wisdom of 100 landscape professionals in short essays that read like studio visits and garden walks. It's not a step-by-step manual. It's more like sitting at a long table with designers who have made a life of noticing. Light, borders, rhythm, paths, proportion. The quiet decisions that make a garden feel inevitable, as if it was always meant to be that way. And if you're longing for garden visits while winter still holds on, this book is a good way to wander without leaving home. And finally, here's something sweet to ignite the little botanic spark in your heart. It was on this day in 1955 that Steve Jobs was born. And yes, even here, there is a garden thread. Steve grew up in what used to be apricot country, orchards that existed long before Silicon Valley became Silicon Valley. Later in life, Steve became deeply attentive to how long living things take to mature. He once reflected that no amount of money can buy the one thing a great garden requires most: an old tree. For his own home, he commissioned the legendary British designer Penelope Hobhouse to create an English cottage garden around his home, a space of restraint, beauty, and serious horticultural intention. And in his final grand project, Apple Park, Steve pushed for a true park, not an office complex. Thousands of trees, native species, a landscape designed to function like an ecosystem. Not just beautiful, working. A man who had everything kept returning to gardens, to patience, to time, to things that could not be rushed. As we close the show today, remember, the garden teaches the long view. It turns wealth into stewardship, imagination into survival, science into clarity. And it reminds us, quietly, that just as it always has, the future is built one small living thing at a time. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener. And remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day.